Here's esteemed would-be jurist Katie Tour at MSNBC today. Let's watch.
Based on where Americans stand on the issues, and Americans have really moved in a much more progressive direction over the years, do you think it's appropriate to continue to take such a strict originalist view of the Constitution, given it's 2018 and not 1776?
Ben, this is where I say, kids, don't try this legal analysis at home. Your reaction?
Oh, the levels of stupid. 1776, the Constitution was not yet written, number one. Number two, if you believe that America has evolved beyond the Constitution, it has an amendment process. Also, we have legislatures that you can elect. And finally, the idea that any of this justifies the Supreme Court moving away from the text of a law simply so they can interpret the Constitution as poetry is more evidence that the left wants the Supreme Court to simply be a super legislature, as opposed to, an actual judiciary that is using judgment instead of will, as per Alexander Hamilton in Federalist 78.
But Ben, isn't it scary, though, when you watch the analysis of the Supreme Court pick, Brett Kavanaugh? You see people now criticizing his name. I mean, the comedians are going after his name. Okay, Brett is apparently a frat boy name. I never heard that before. Now his national tickets.
Yep. My favorite thing about the name thing is that the same people who think that Brett is an inappropriate name for a Supreme Court justice are celebrating that Cardi B just had a kid she named Culture with a K.
I think it shows just how desperate the left is, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the meltdowns about NATO, the meltdowns about Kavanaugh, the meltdowns about, the Antifa. I love all of it, okay? Just all the balls have to be juggled all at one time because this provides unending humor for you and me. Ben Shapiro, it's great to have you on, as always. And
good to see you.
Everyone out there, we'll be right back.
This is an amazing NBC News hit job. So my friend Jordan Peterson, who has become something of a phenomenon, obviously, over the past several months, and who is now a best-selling author, has been for weeks and weeks and weeks now, NBC News on 60 Minutes did an absolute hit job on Jordan Peterson. They apparently did a 90-minute interview with Jordan. Jordan is not only not alt-right, Jordan has forcibly condemned the alt-right in no uncertain terms over and over and over. So what happened? NBC News labeled him an alt-right intellectual. And here's what it looked like. It's just an insane thing.
He takes direct aim at the far left and its effects on young men, whom he says have been hurt by a society that overvalues political correctness and pushes them away from traditional male roles. His new self-help book, 12 Rules for Life, is already a bestseller. Hundreds of thousands subscribe to his online lectures. His speeches regularly attract protests.
I'm not arguing about your rights.
And his new speaking tour is selling out.
Feels like a movement, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I think he's dangerous because of the sorts of people that he enables.
Journalist John Semley has criticized Peterson.
Is there an ideological similarity between Jordan Peterson and Donald Trump and his followers?
I would say fundamentally, yes. They both believe in this basic split of winners and losers, of hierarchies being natural.
Peterson doesn't apologize for his mostly male audience and tells them not to apologize for their privilege, describing himself as a kind of father figure.
Get your bloody act together, but I'm on your side.
Using psychology, religion, and biology to justify the same inequality the left opposes.
What you're saying, it just sounds a bit grim, doesn't it?
No.
No?
No, it sounds a lot grim.
Okay, that's just, what in the world? So, I mean, we have a full hour interview coming out with Jordan in the very near future, okay? I speak with Jordan on a regular basis. This is the most ridiculous take on Jordan Peterson I have ever seen. He's using religion to justify inequality. In what world what are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? Have you read, anything by Jordan Peterson? Have you ever listened to anything by Jordan Peterson? Okay, what Jordan says is that before you declare that inequality is therefore inequitable, you have to determine whether there are natural hierarchies in achievement. Okay, what he says is there are certain people who achieve more and certain people who achieve less. The question is whether they violated someone else's rights in achieving more or less. And if not, then inequality exists, but that doesn't mean some inequity has happened, right? Which is obviously true. But Jordan is apparently an alt-right intellectual, even though he, again, opposes the alt-right. And then they wonder why we don't trust them. And then they wonder why it is that we think that they are completely full of crap in the media. Because they do 90-minute interviews with Jordan Peterson, and then they release 30 seconds of Jordan Peterson talking and 90 seconds of one of his critics talking about how terrible he is and how he's just like Donald Trump. Jordan Peterson is just like Donald Trump. The dude was an associate professor of psychology at Harvard University. You're right, he's just like Donald Trump. He wrote a 500-page book on the deep maps of meaning undergirding philosophy and myth. not only in Western civilization, but in comparative religion across the world. Yeah, that sounds just like Trump. That's just like Trump. He's an intellectual, just like, what in the world? And then again, it's about the only reason that we hate the media, though, is apparently because we're all rubes, and Donald Trump suckered us into it.